I'm officially 1 week postpartum exactly today, and it is so wild that this is my first video on here since my baby girl has been born, and I no longer have the big pregnant belly now, but now I have her on me. And honestly, this first week postpartum has been absolutely amazing, and I just wanted to come and share my experience and how things are going, and just kind of get into some details about my first week postpartum. And if you're new here, I'm Naomi. I'm a first-time mama. I just delivered my baby girl a week ago, and I had an all natural birth in a birthing center, and it was absolutely beautiful. I've had some people ask me about if I'm going to be sharing my story, if I'm going to put out like a birth vlog or a birth story, and I am going to be sharing my birth story soon. There was so much that went into it, and I want to make sure that I get all the details. So I'm working on that, and I will be putting that out to share with you all soon. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you know when I post that. It will be coming soon. But let's go ahead and get into how postpartum has been. Honestly, I didn't really have any expectations for how it would be, but I did know that I wanted my postpartum to be very positive, because so many times you hear people talk about a negative postpartum experience. They talk about the postpartum depression and just the struggle to adjust. And those are all valid things. People do deal with postpartum depression. People do struggle to adjust. I mean, I've had to make adjustments, and it is a challenge. I mean, it's new, especially as a first-time mama. This is completely new. And even when you're having your second and your third, like, it's an adjustment to get used to having two and then having three. So it's all an adjustment, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I knew coming into my postpartum, or looking forward to my postpartum, that I wanted it to be positive. So I made sure that I prepared myself before, prepared my home, my mind, my body, everything as much as I could, so that my postpartum is great. And this first week has been absolutely amazing. As far as physical recovery goes, physical recovery has been going pretty well. I did deliver vaginally with all natural, no medication, no epidural, nothing. So I felt everything, and I did get a couple of stitches. So there has been like some burning down there when I used the bathroom. So that has been a lot of discomfort for the physical recovery aspect. I've been working to stay off my feet as much as possible. And in your first week postpartum, you're really going to have to remind yourself to stay off your feet, because even though like some days you'll feel like, oh, I have so much energy, like let me just, get some things done. No, because the pelvic pain, first of all, and then you just kind of tire yourself out a lot. So it's really easy to think like, oh, I feel great, let me go ahead and get back to it. No, still rest. So I've really been making sure that I'm resting as much as possible, staying off my feet as much as possible. The first couple of days postpartum, my husband was having to help me go to the restroom, shower, and I was feeling lightheaded. So I really I had like 5 minutes on my feet, and that was it those first couple of days. And I did a lot of resting, and baby did a lot of resting too. So just a lot of resting, a lot of breastfeeding in those first 48 hours. Another thing physically in this postpartum period has been like adjusting to breastfeeding, because obviously it's completely new as a first-time mama, and so there is like breast soreness and nipple soreness from the breastfeeding. So that's something to get used to. And I have had some uterine contractions, but not too many to where like it's like overbearing or uncomfortable. Honestly, like it really hasn't been that much, but that is something that I've experienced physically in this first week postpartum. And also a significant drop in weight. I'm 1 week postpartum and I've already dropped half the weight that I gained during my entire pregnancy. And so that's a lot on the body at one time. So that's another reason why I've been prioritizing rest, my nutrition, and hydration, because that's a lot of change for the body at one time. A lot of different hormones adjusting, a lot of different fluids in the body adjusting, the body starting to produce milk, just a lot of different things. Obviously, like getting less rest, because the baby throughout the night. So just things like that. So that's why, like, for physical recovery, rest is so important, and I prioritize that so much in this first week postpartum. And as far as bleeding goes, I have experienced bleeding. I've been wearing like Depends and like large pads this whole first week because there was bleeding. The bleeding was mainly the heaviest during the first like 48 to 72 hours is when it was the heaviest. And I did pass a clot, which is very, very normal for women in like right after delivery. And my midwife had told me, she said, any clots that are up to the size of an egg are completely normal. And I'm glad she told me that, because I passed a clot that was the size of an egg and I would have freaked out if she didn't tell me that. But it was pretty funny because I had used the restroom, I stood up and it just fell out. So if that happens to you, just know, whenever you're in your postpartum period, especially that first, like those first few days, just know, like, if you're on the toilet, it could go in the toilet, or whenever you stand up and you're walking around, like, or you stand up to wipe or something like that, it could still come out and you could still be leaking. So that's why I was just cognizant to make sure I had something under me whenever I was going to the restroom, because you really can't help how all that happens. So that's really it for the physical recovery aspect. As far as the emotional side, all of my emotions have been on the beautiful, bright, happy, and positive side. Honestly, anytime I look at my daughter or I sing to her or she's just resting on me, I just start crying happy tears. Seeing her with my husband and just my husband being a father, it's like the most beautiful feeling, and I've fallen so much more in love with him, like seeing him be a father to her, and it's so beautiful. So the emotions are real, but all the happy emotions. So definitely be prepared for all the crying. As far as sleep goes, honestly, I'm going to be so honest with you. The sleep overnight with a newborn is not that bad. The first couple of days, she was waking up like every 2 hours, sometimes every 1 hour to feed. And yes, it was an adjustment, like, because obviously, like, as a first time mom, I was previously used to just sleeping all the way through the night. So I was not used to that. But then she started giving me like 2 hour stretches, 3 hour stretches, like, and honestly, that's not that bad. The part of sleep that has been something that has been an adjustment is getting to sleep at a good time. And so just establishing like a nighttime routine, getting into that. So starting early, because sometimes babies will throw you curveballs. They'll want to eat, they'll be fussy, you'll change their diaper and then they'll poop immediately or pee immediately, and then you'll have to change it again. You'll put them down and they'll start crying again. So they can throw you some curveballs. So just starting the nighttime routine earlier has been something that I've learned in this first week postpartum to make sure that I do, so that we're not getting to sleep so late. Because literally our first night that we were home with her, we didn't go to sleep until like 2:45 in the morning. And we are not night owls. Like, me and my husband are asleep by like 9, 10. Sometimes we're in bed at like 8 or 8:30. Yes, I know we're like a little old couple, but so 2:45, that was really, really late for us. And then, some nights are like 11, 11:30. So just working it up to get it more to like that 9, 10 mark, so that like we can just have a good full night's rest, even though like I'm getting up throughout the night. But just getting in bed earlier will help the rest a lot more. And the days that we have gone to bed earlier, even though I am getting up through the night, I feel more rested. So sleep is really not that bad. Just, again, getting to bed is the part that we've been working on. What has really been helping during this postpartum period has really been nourishing my body and having grace with myself. In postpartum, it's so easy to feel guilty for not jumping back to how you used to do things, how quickly you used to do things, your previous schedule and things like that. And that has been something that I've really had to tell myself and to let myself know, like, have grace. You are recovering. You just birthed a baby, a whole baby. And so, just prioritizing time with her and then just allowing myself to just take steps on getting back into a routine more and more every day, not just completely not doing anything, but just, making improvements every day. And that's how it's been. So every day has been an improvement on the last, as far as getting back into a routine. And that's okay. Being in postpartum, there's a lot of different changes. And so that's one thing that I've definitely been telling myself, just to have grace and also nourish my body well, because sometimes I don't feel like eating or hydrating myself, but I just remind myself to do that. Honestly, the first couple of days, I was super hungry and I was very, very thirsty. And I will tell you guys why in my birth story coming soon. But yes, hydration, nutrition, and then just having grace with myself has been what has really been helping in this postpartum period. Support has been everything too in this first week postpartum. My husband has been an amazing support. He's always asking me if I need help, helping me up, helping me sit down in the first couple of days, helping me go to the restroom, helping me shower, actually bathing myself for me, like my lower half, because it was hard for me to bend down. So just things like that, helping with the baby. And also my mother-in-law, she was bringing me meals in the first few days. She's been coming to help us clean and things like that. And so having this support has been everything. So if you have anyone in your corner that can help you, then definitely take the help. I know if you're anything like me, sometimes it's hard for me to take help because I like to do things on my own, but I force myself to take help where it is, because that's a blessing when people offer their hand to help. And so definitely, if you are having people offering to help you in your postpartum period, definitely be open to take it, because you may feel right now that you don't need it until you get into your postpartum period and you realize how much rest you need, how difficult it is to stay on your feet for so long, and that support is going to be everything. So yes, definitely being in this first week postpartum, it has been an adjustment to a new normal, and a beautiful new normal. I have been feeling really, really good. Definitely don't let anybody's negative postpartum experiences make you fearful or scared. Don't put that on yourself. Postpartum is honestly so beautiful. You have a beautiful blessing that you now have as a part of your life. And especially if you're a first-time mama, there's so many new things that you're going to learn. And this first week has just really been a learning and resting period. Learning my baby, learning her cues, learning a new routine, and resting as much as possible. So I hope that my positive postpartum experience can encourage you, and also just serve as something to really inspire you to have your own positive experience, because again, I know that there are negative experiences out there, but there's a lot of positive too. So if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next one. And if you're currently pregnant, I wish you the best in your pregnancy journey and also your upcoming labor and delivery.